Greetings and salutations, friends. Welcome to Tales from the Waystone Summer Reading Program.
We are your hosts, Will and Phoenix. This will be a short episode because why our bodies' health stuff sucks, mental health stuff sucks, and I at least wanted to have something for you today.
Yeah, so this one's going to be a little bit different. I know we're all anxiously awaiting the conclusion to our Bookshops and Bonedust series. And that's going to have to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've been kind of on this little razor's edge of whether or not we can get things out on the time frame that I've originally set up. I've been trying for months to get back to a position where I gave myself some leeway, and we ran smack into that this past episode. So instead of doing the episode, which we are actually recording right after this, and will come out in 2 weeks, so I have time to edit it, we've decided to kind of just give you a couple of recommended things that you can do instead of listening to our podcast this time.
There's a number of options out there. So we'll just take turns and share our recs. You want to go first?
Sure. Start a new hobby and don't be afraid of screwing up and having to restart.
Yeah, I've found that the secret to happiness is being able to do something badly and still enjoy it.
So I'm on the crochet subreddit, and I'm also on crochet help subreddit and crochet pattern subreddit and all of this other stuff that is all about a whole bunch of people just making stuff with yarn and a hook. And there are a lot of people who picked it up for the new year. And almost daily, if not more often than like once a day, there are at least one big thread that gets commented on about why the thing that somebody's making isn't working. And the advice is almost always to take it apart and try redoing it. And here's advice on how to make it better the next time. So here's the big secret. The sunk cost fallacy is absolutely real. People are like, but I spent hours trying to do this. Why can't I just fix it from this? Like, why can't I continue from this and make it better? And the answer is not that simple. You really can't. The best thing you can do if you want it to be perfect is to undo it and redo it. You will do it faster the second time. You will do it better the second time. And it will be less of a struggle and it will be less of a problem. Or you cut your losses and run. Like, you don't undo it. You leave the thing alone and then you just cut your yarn and run.
And do something else.
Well, and do another project or start over again without having to frog it all.
I think for a lot of us who grew up gifted, where we're used to being able to pick things up really quickly. And then when you come into something that is not part of your natural skill set, and then suddenly you don't know how to handle not being good at something, at least not immediately. So then you just start saying, well, obviously I'm just not good at this, so I'm not going to bother.
People pick up guitar at the beginning of the year also. I'm in a lot of guitar subreddits. I've been trying to do this for a week. Why am I not instantly good at it?
You know, I've been playing for about 5 years now, 6 years now, actually.
Sure.
And I'm still not very good at it. I'm not a rock star or anything like that. I can play a few songs that I know, and that's enough. And that's good for me. That also took a lot of practice to get to. And it's okay if you're not playing like Eddie Van Halen or whatever. Most people don't.
It's okay to enjoy something that you're doing, even if you're doing it badly.
Yeah.
I think that's another bit of recommendation is learn to enjoy doing things badly.
Because doing things badly is the first step to maybe doing them better.
I mean, I'm not recommending that y'all go back to the beginning of this podcast and listen to what we started with. Talk about doing things badly. It wasn't great. But we've been doing this for years and we've been enjoying it. And for the foreseeable future, this is my outlet for being able to read Health Stuff Sucks. And I have not been able to sit down and actually read. And I know that our audience is tiny. I appreciate every single one of you because you give me an excuse to read every couple of weeks. I can read at least 40 pages. And, I'm very thankful for that. I've been carting around the same book since November, trying to get back into just sitting and reading. I can concentrate on crochet. I can concentrate on doing like other projects, guitar maintenance, Lego. other things. I'm having such a hard time with concentrating on reading, but I love it. And so this community, this little corner of the world that we've carved out has been a lovely thing for me to have. It's more of an obligation to myself than it is to anybody else, but I'm still enjoying it and we'll still keep doing it.
I guess my recommendation here, beyond just doing stuff badly, is
Sure.
now my brain just shut off. Hate it when that happens. Hang on.
Okay, so if you're not really able to think of it, interrupt when you can. But
Okay.
are there any other, like, maybe hour-long things or like series of hour-long things that we can recommend people do instead of listening to us?
Check out A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It's the new George R. R. Martin series streaming right now. And even better, if you got the bandwidth for it, check out the actual books, the novellas that they're based off of.
They're so charming.
It's a Westeros story with low stakes, and I mean it's not that it's low stakes for the people involved. It's just that the people involved are looking at it primarily from the perspective of commoners.
Of Lowborn.
Yeah, it's the tale of Sir Duncan the Tall, who is better known as Dunk.
He's a hedge knight, which is even like a lower class than normal knights. They're not nobles. They're not known for serving nobles. They are used by the noble class.
They basically fill the role of not quite sellsword, not quite knight. They're somewhere kind of right in the middle. They don't get land or title or anything like that.
They make their living pretty much by tourney and are lucky if they survive them.
They're essentially there to fill up the lists with cannon fodder.
Yeah. But the stories themselves, the novellas, are refreshingly charming in a book series, a book universe that is known for being excruciatingly brutal.
And that brutality is still there, but there's a sweetness to Dunk and his squire Egg that helps cut through all of that and help you see the value of the people there.
So that's highly recommended. The Pit Season 2.
It's been a lot of fun.
Gory fun.
Stressful fun.
There was a thing that I saw, a podcast that was recorded, like video recorded, where they were talking about how is the Pit kind of still cozy.
I think what is comforting about the Pit is that it's competency porn.
Yes.
Everyone involved is competent and trying to do the right thing in a difficult situation. So you know that if any one of those people are your physician in the ER, they're going to be doing their damnedest to make sure that you come out whole on the other side. And
not with a hole on the other side.
But they are genuinely going to try and get the best outcome for you.
At least not any holes that, you didn't come in with.
Yeah. But they're going to do the right thing for you and they're going to try their best. That's really where I see it. Like, they're not perfect. They make mistakes all the time. They miss things because they're human. They are also, though, deeply concerned about the well-being of their patients. And, it's something where you get to see how our systems fail and how they set people up to fail. And at the same time, how people can pull together to succeed in spite of those.
So one thing to note about why it feels different than other medical dramas, it feels like people are there actually doing their job.
Right. There aren't endless soap opera plots, there are relationships and things like that, because each episode covers a full hour in real time. You don't have an extended breakaway to see what their dating life is like. You only see what these people are like at work.
For one day.
Right. An hour at a time.
So you got that. That one's good.
Another fun thing to try is Dispatch.
Yes. We just got that game.
So we're about, I want to say, 3 episodes deep in it so far. And it's been fun. It's got the cast of Critical Role plus a bunch of other folks involved.
Including Aaron Paul, including a number of pretty well-known YouTubers.
Yeah, the whole thing is fun. It's funny.
You don't have to be good at it to enjoy it.
I'm not very good at it.
I haven't actually tried playing it. I've just been watching Will's decision making.
There's also some just interesting interactions. The characters are charming. Some of them are jerks. Most of them are jerks. But the whole idea is that you're essentially an emergency 911 operator for a squad of superheroes. Except instead of getting the Justice League, you've got the Z Team, who are all reformed or reforming supervillains trying to do something better for one reason or another.
It feels like they got plopped into this.
Yeah, they're doing this because it's better than prison,
Yeah, with varying degrees of whether or not they're trying.
right?
The dialogue is witty and sarcastic. The scenarios feel pretty real.
And they're also generally low stakes.
Yes.
It is primarily helping people cross the street, saving cats, busting up home invasions.
Getting mad at people who cut in line at concerts.
Yeah,
Having a stern talking to.
yeah.
I like that a lot. Other things. I highly recommend listening to albums that you haven't listened to in a while. So, we recently got Tripod from Alice in Chains, and we have it on vinyl. And I like having albums on vinyl because even if you don't love every single song, the way that an actual album is composed and arranged and organized is its own art form. And it's nice to have that nostalgia also.
Yeah, the era of completely analog music, whether we're talking about vinyl or cassette, even more so than CD, the effort that goes into putting together a track list is pretty impressive. And it also means that because skipping from song to song was not really a thing that you could do at the push of a button, they had to put a lot of thought into how one song flowed into the next. Like everything is meant to be listened to in order as opposed to skipped around or put onto shuffle. And so each album becomes its own experience in a way that you really don't get with digital forms like an MP3 or streaming or even a CD.
I'd say though that art isn't lost. The patience for listening in that way has been corrupted by these abilities to just skip around or to make playlists or shuffle.
I also have to say there's something kind of charming about the built-in limitations of physical media, whether that is storage space in the case of a CD or a record for that matter, or just the fact that as you get closer to the center of a record, it's harder to do fast, intense songs because the vibrations are more sensitive, and that makes it a greater risk of the record needle jumping out of the groove. So it's why the last song on a side of a vinyl record is always a bit slower. Like it'll have a slower beats per minute.
Might be a ballad.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a down tempo thing. So like if you're always wondering why is the last song always kind of like that, it's because you can't put your blistering mega solo like you would at the beginning at the end because the record needle is just not going to stay in.
I love how specifically like antiquated technology or antiquated ways of doing things still affect the things that we have now, whether that's by tradition or by continued limitations, like physical limitations. Seeing how that just flows down even now, right? Like things that were very true for the music industry in the 50s and 60s, even before, right? But the way that that an album is structured is based off of physical media that was all but dead in the 90s.
Yep. It's pretty wild, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. I know it's got a resurgence now, and I wonder if those limitations have been taken into account more with more recent albums that are almost by default getting a record release.
I think that's probably true. And especially as like bands make more money off of vinyl releases than they do off of digital streaming platforms, I think it does get into their thought processes. The digital release at this point is primarily something that'll show up on a playlist or on a shuffle mix or something like that, but they still have to put some thought into track order for the actual physical release.
which is also the same track order generally as the digital release of the full album.
Yeah, and really where you see the digital release, the things they're focusing on are the singles because that's what's gonna show up on the big playlists or whatever.
Or radio still, but that's been the case for decades. A lot of focus being placed on those singles.
Yeah, and the physical releases of those singles are more of a niche market.
But what's interesting is that the same idea, the same concept of playing into physical limitations from the past affecting us still today is going to be part of my What Did I Learn in our full on episode. So, Will, have you figured out what you were going to originally talk about? Like what the recommendation that you went, oh crap, I don't have it in my head anymore. It yeeted itself.
No, I'd already figured it out. It was Dispatch is what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay, cool. I am not going to edit this episode very much. I was just kind of curious to sate my curiosity. I needed to know whether or not you'd actually told everybody what it was that was in your head. And I am glad that you did. So, with that said, please go find something, even another podcast, even another, like a book, you know, playing with Lego or your kids or your puppy or any, like, find a suitable replacement for us that brings you some kind of joy. We'll see you in 2 weeks with the episode we're about to record. And with that, here's to one more day above the roses.
To one more day above the roses.
Ding! Oh, come join us on Discord. And it's like, derp, derp, why in the heck can I not hear myself? Oh, no headphones connected.